Jumping in, the news from Wednesday that has everyone talking was the announcement from Jacob Allen that his sprint car career has come to an end.
So it was a beautiful spring morning in the Pacific Northwest in Southern Oregon. I not being out on the road, back home here, just leaving the gym, doing my daily routine when I'm back in the 541. So climbing in my vehicle and getting ready to head back to the house in the race shop. I happened to pull out my phone as I was getting a call, and you guys will not believe who it was from. Bobby, what's up? Well, I figured for today's show, I had to bring out the Shark Racing sweatshirt. Wanted to welcome you guys back though to today's show. As you can tell from the title, the thumbnail, and the intro, we are going to be talking about one of the topics that has come up recently in sprint car racing. So we ought to just start from the top here. I don't have that much shop space because I still don't want to show you guys what my 2025 cars look like. They're literally sitting right there. But just about 1 week ago, Jacob Allen, he had posted to Facebook, put out a pretty long post. It just started off by saying, "What's up, everyone? I'm just going to get this out there. I'm stepping away from my driving career." And then he kind of ran through, thanked a few people and just talked about, kind of what his next steps look like. And obviously something like this, everyone kind of takes it differently. Obviously, everyone being so happy for Jake. For me, a little different because I know Jake personally. After filling in for him in 2023, got to spend some time with him there in Hanover, Pennsylvania. He came to a handful of those races. And Jake's just a really good dude, great personality for sprint car racing. I think we all can agree we're going to miss seeing him behind the wheel. Now, as you can imagine, with me being a part of Shark Racing in 2023, finishing off the Outlaw Tour that season, we did like right around 25 races. Once this hit the internet, my phone started blowing up. I've never been tagged so many times in my life in Jacob's comment section, on like the different sprint car groups, even the text and the calls that my phone was getting. Like people are like, "Man, like, are you going back, with Shark Racing and this and that?" It all had just started rolling in as Jake had put that post up. So that's a little bit of the background. Jake announced that he's retiring from sprint car racing. So now the question that you guys are all asking me, did Shark Racing call you? And the answer is yes. Bobby Allen called me directly, and it actually called me before Jake had put that post out because, obviously in the days leading up, Jake had made his decision. So then the team started making their decisions on what they are going to do next, as they wanted to continue to field the 1A out on the road, basically the entire schedule they already had lined out if they could. And this all went exactly how the beginning of my video showed. Like, I was leaving the gym, I checked my phone, Bobby Allen calling me. And I love Bob to death. Like, Bobby is such a good dude, such a close friend of mine still. And did the normal thing he would have done. Called, wouldn't have been like, "Hey Tanner, how's it going?" You start chit-chatting and then like, "Hey, here's why I'm calling." Answer the phone right into, "Hey, here's what's going on. Jake is, going to be done racing. He's retiring. We need a driver." And just starts going on and on and on. So basically, I knew everything I needed to know within like 25 seconds. But we ended up talking for a few more minutes. And of course, quickly he was asking, what are my plans? What's the rest of my year look like? What am I committed to already? And it was difficult because I was happy that these guys called me. It was cool, it could be an opportunity. And I always don't ever want to say no or yes right away. Like, I try to take a second to process things. I'm kind of that type of person. Like, I really have to think situations through. But the main points I wanted to talk with Bobby about was like, are you looking for a driver this next week? Would I be able to pick up at a certain point in the season? Are you looking to have multiple guys fill the seat? Of course, with multiple guys filling the seat, that would give me better opportunity because I already have commitments with the 21 car to a certain date. But in ways too, I have commitments with my own family cars, with partners and sponsors, and all of that's already lined out. So I was pretty tied up quick. And that's kind of how things ended up going. I talked to Bobby for 5 or 10 minutes. I said, "Hey, I'm gonna get back to you by the end of the day to give you an answer so you can move forward." And like, not even that too, like they already were gonna pick me. I'm sure in their situation, they had a list of guys and they wanted to just start talking and kind of see what their options were. Of course, I'm sure they just gave me the call because I ran for them and filled in 2023. So I've already kind of been a part of the program. And like I said, for me, it was easy. Sit down, line out the schedule that they gave me, the schedule that I have. Where do I already have commitments that I can't, go back on or, work around? Like, what do I want to be doing? What is basically what they're putting on the table? And it was really clear pretty quickly that with the schedule and everything I already have going, I was not really going to be able to fulfill the role that they were looking for. Now, if they end up needing a guy for just select shows here and there, like I told them during PA Speed Week, Tuscarora 50, stuff like that, I could get get on a plane, fly right over, that's different. But as far as dropping what I currently have, or like I said, fulfilling my commitment with the 21, then McFadden gets in the car, if I were to even step with them and then run basically all the races through September, still be difficult because, you know, we've been preparing everything we have for the 18T. We haven't even ran a race yet, and we have commitments with this program. So that's really how things panned out. And a lot of it came from a side for me, like I wanted to help them. I know the situation that they're in. Obviously, they're doing what's best and Jake's doing what's best for him. But now with them wanting to continue the team, you know, there's not necessarily like a lot of options, right, for drivers on the table. Everyone either has their ride lined up. We're so early in the season, you know, guys aren't really in spots where they're really ready to depart their current ride to jump into a new seat. And then also I just wanted to say, as I'm mentioning all this, like I'm so happy doing what I'm doing. Like I had this great opportunity with Tarleton, and I've been so thankful for that, and I'm 100% committed to that. If they say we're driving, you know, we're driving to Knoxville next week, but if they say we're going full high limit racing, or we're getting on the Outlaw Tour, or we're doing whatever, I'm in. With Bobby calling me, I just wanted to see if there was a way I could help them, or at least get them on their feet, if I could run some races, if it fit with my schedule, until they found a full-time guy. I was just kind of exploring all that. So it sounds like, you know, I think they just actually officially did announce it, so I can say Cale Thomas is going to be in that car for the remainder of the year, which I'm happy for those guys. I'm glad that they found Cale. It all worked out, and I think he's going to be a great fit for their program. And as those guys get racing, I'm wishing them all the best. Obviously, Shark Racing helped me so much in 2023 and allowed me my first opportunity to race on a national stage consistently. So as I go through my entire driving career, I'll always be so thankful for what they did, and, you know, getting to spend those 3 or 4 months with Bobby Allen, I literally learned so much. But hopefully you enjoyed today's show. I just wanted to give some insight. You know, I think when you see some of these ride opportunities happen and then you see drivers announced, you don't always get to see the behind the scenes. It sounded like Shark Racing, of course they were talking to Cale Thomas, sounded like they also had called Zeb Wise. I would think they probably had a handful of other guys that they talked to, and I don't know what went into their decision. The good news is, with all that, Shark Racing, they're an established program, and usually a seat like that doesn't stay empty for very long, so they obviously were able to get it all figured out. In the meantime though, we've been working away here at THR in the shop. Cars are just about ready to roll. So we have a quick little Midwest stint here coming up. We'll be gone 4-ish weeks. Once we get back, these cars, they're going to be hitting the track very soon, and we're going to be finishing off our stint with the 21 car, and then the 18T is going to be getting ready to roll by come here early summer. So very, very excited. Just wanting to get as many races in as we can and keep rolling our 2025 season along. Thank you guys so much for watching, and that was today's show on how my phone rang, if I said yes or no, and a little insight with the 1A and Shark Racing. Again, wishing those guys the best. Jacob, Bobby, everyone there, great people. And on Logan's side with Bill, Logan, their family. I'm sure we'll see them soon here on the road, and we're going to continue rolling through our season. Deuces.